Welcome back to Grey Script and everything in between. This episode is for the woman who has left, or the woman who is thinking of leaving, or the woman who keeps leaving and going back. Because today we are talking about real rebuilding after control and abuse. And I'm going to be honest with you, in this episode, it's not harsh, but it's real. Because sometimes the truth is what sets you free. So, when you leave a situation where you have lost yourself, leaving isn't the end. Doesn't just miraculously all get better. This is the belief that you have once you leave, that everything will get better. That peace arrives, but the clarity, it takes time. It's not linear for every person. You know, you might have mentally and physically left the relationship, well, left the relationship before you literally leave. And in those cases, you'll probably have the peace and the clarity. However, if it's one of those situations where you have no choice but to leave, something happens, then the peace and the clarity will come at a time after everything adjusts. And this is what I'm saying about it's not linear, it's not the same for every person. Because leaving is not just physical, it's emotional, it's psychological, it's identity. You're not just leaving a person, you're leaving a pattern, a routine, a version of yourself, a belief system, and that takes time to process. So, what happens after you leave, and this part, I guess, is the important part, because many women are not prepared for this. I know I wasn't. When you leave, control doesn't stop, it just changes form. You may notice that they reach out to you, they say things to provoke a reaction, they involve other people, they retell the story but differently. And this is where it can feel confusing. That suddenly, or because suddenly, you're made to be out, you are made to be made out to be the problem. That everything will be at you. It's not a case that you can just leave and your healing begins. Some of the healing begins, but that kind of clarity and peace, it depends on the person. Um, it took me a long time. And that's because I knew that, and it's probably still ongoing because it kind of does. Um, you might hear things like they say that you caused this, you caused the breakup. There was nothing wrong. It caught them by surprise. They wasn't aware that you felt this way, or that you're overreacting. Whatever happened, the argument wasn't that bad. Because obviously all the subsequent arguments that are the same argument but different, you didn't leave. Like, why is this time different? Because maybe the mound under the rug has got far too high and you keep tripping over it. You might hear that they say that you've ruined everything, that, if you're not in a committed relationship or if you're not married, it was, oh, but I was going to propose anything to get you sucked back in. But what they are often doing is projecting. They are telling a version of the story that protects them, and sometimes they are actually describing the behavior that they showed towards you. You might feel that the stories that you hear are things that they did to you. but they are retelling it as if that you did it to them. And that is usually the normal pattern because that's how they get people on side. That's how they isolate you. That's how they punish you for going. That's how they kind of just get back at you taking a stand because they can't control you if you're not there. If you're not in their life anymore, they can't no longer control you and do the things that they were. They can no longer suck the energy out of you and suck the light away and dim you and because you're not there. So the only thing they can do is turn it all on you. And this is where obviously flying monkeys, I touched on that last week. This is using others. So after you leave, you may become others may become involved. Not always intentionally, mostly family members and close friends. They will question your decision, they minimize your experience, they repeat what they've been told, and they try to fix things. And this can make you feel isolated, misunderstood, and doubted because obviously you've made a decision, whatever reason that you've actually come to, that you've left, you put yourself first, you've decided no more. It doesn't help when others are hearing a different side of a story and that side makes you out to be the abuser. And that's where the confusion lies within your head because you know what's happened, you know what you've been through. And just because you haven't shared it with like the truth with many people, they're going to have this image. Now, personally, I always made sure that I told people the actual truth that was going on because I guess I'd learned over the years how isolated I was. So, and these people, these true friends, true family, they will understand the reason why you've not left because it has to be right for you to leave. Like literally, in some cases, it all feels like it's fallen apart. That's the best time to leave. In some cases, it's really calm. There's not been an argument for a little while. That's the best time to leave. Like I could tell you all the best times to leave, but no one can tell you to leave. That is your decision. One day you will leave. Either you are made to leave or you will just leave. But no one can tell you to leave. But I do advise you to share with close people actual things that are happening. So when you do leave the situation and you have got people potentially gaslighting you because they're telling you something that's not true, they're telling something that they've been told by your abuser, it's very easy to continue feeling like you're isolated and that everyone's against you and maybe it wasn't that bad and then you end up going back. We don't want that. When you leave, you need to leave. So people may question your decision, minimize your experience, repeat what they've been told, try to fix things. And this can make you feel isolated, misunderstood, doubted. And you may start to think, did I do the right thing? Was it really that bad? And this is where you must stay grounded in your truth, which is why I say share. Because other people often only seeing a filtered version of events. And you may have to fight that on your own. And I wasn't aware when it was happening, any of this. This is all kind of learnt stuff. And the reason why I share my true experience is because I'm going to hand on heart say it's not easy. It's not easy being in the situation and it's not being easy being out of the situation. And it will take time, but you need to do it. 100% you need to do it because you are worth more. And you might not see that worth right now, but I guarantee those people that you share the truth with who are on your side, and yes, you do need to test these people with things before you tell them, because obviously your trust is gone, you don't know who to trust and you don't know who's on your side. But those people will see you through. So I touched this on children last week as well, and I'm going to touch on it again this time. So one of the hardest parts is the children in situation. Because when children are involved, the dynamic becomes more complex because you still have to co-parent with these people. And your children can be used as messengers, they are influenced, they're exposed to different narratives, and they are placed in the middle. They're used as pawns, they're used as playthings, as toys, as ammunition. And even when you try to protect them, they will still feel it. They will still see it. They will still absorb it. And this is where your guilt will come in. But I want to say this bit clearly. You are not responsible for someone else's behavior. What you can do is show your children what safety looks like, what calm looks like, what respect looks like, what truth looks like. That matters more than perfection. Because there's the emotional reality. And this is a part that not many people talk about. After you leave, you may feel empty, lost, emotional, confused. Like you may just sit and cry for days and days and days because everything's changed. Also, you feel safe. And when you feel safe, all those emotions that you've been holding in, all the tears, all the anger, all the confusion, all the just the mental turmoil will kind of just come out. And I sat and cried and cried and cried, like silent tears for a long time. Probably mostly because I knew I was safe. So you may question everything. And this is the bit that surprises people. You may even miss them. You may think, maybe it will be different this time. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe I should go back. And I really want to say this from experience because I have been there. I've told myself all those things. I have gone back more than once. And the outcome was always the same. Nothing changed because the pattern didn't change. And this is the truth that many people don't say. Going back doesn't create a new story. It repeats the same one. They will act like you are a queen on a pedestal for 5 minutes until it goes back to the way it was. Because they can't keep up that mask that reeled you in the first place. They can't keep it up because you've seen it. You've seen the true them now. So why do they need to hide it from you? And they all tell themselves that obviously that you've gone back because you're just amazing. Like they're amazing, sorry. And that then gives them a bit more of an ego boost, which they don't really need because they already think they're themselves amazing without you. You're just someone that gives them someone to kind of show their true self to, because probably outside the house they're masking to everyone. Like everyone thinks they're amazing and they're this pillar in the community and they're like nothing can, they're such a nice guy and so helpful, blah blah blah, or woman. But you've seen their true colors. So and that's also when you go, they get a little bit worried that people will believe you over them, which is why so they try so much harder, and that's why the stories come, and that's why it's because they can't lose face. They can't have that image that people have of them. They can't have that tarnished. So keeping you in that relationship situation hellhole keeps them happy because they can be true to you. You see their true side, you put up with it, you're nothing. But everyone outside of the family sees a completely different person. So you need to know that. Rebuilding is not about rushing forward. It's about allowing yourself to feel, rest, process and breathe. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't have to be strong every day. You just need not to go backwards. Start small. Reconnect with yourself. Listen to your thoughts. Rebuild your confidence. Create small moments of peace. Rebuilding is not loud, it's quiet, but it's powerful. And it will take time. Now, this is the truth. Like, I'm 100% honest. Just the way I'm made. And I'm going to say something very clearly now. Leaving is hard. But nothing is harder than staying in an environment that's slowly taking you away from yourself. You don't realize how much of yourself you've lost until you start to come back. And that process is worth everything. If this episode has resonated with you, if you're in that space of rebuilding, you don't have to do it alone. My one-to-one coaching supports women through understanding their past, navigating their present, and rebuilding their future, helping you connect with yourself in a grounded, supportive way. If you take one thing from today, let it be this. You didn't leave because you were weak. You left because something in you knew you deserved more. And even on the days where it feels hard, that part of you is still there. And it will guide you forward. And until next time, sending you all my love. Feel free to share this with someone.